go ahead and start off. Let's start off, if you wouldn't mind. We're just going to go ahead and jump into the deep end here a little bit with a little bit of conversation around AI. I mean, this is this unavoidable conversation topic right now, because it is, I mean, one, like, just at a society-wide level, it's like everybody's like, okay, what is this thing and what's happening? But it seems like, one of the very first places that it's hitting, and I don't think that's just because we're living in this world every day. I think if you actually look around, it's like one of the very first places that it's hitting is in marketing-related, sales-related activity, content marketing and stuff like that. Maybe if you want to start, if you will, with any high level, no pun intended, thoughts on just kind of where you see this, impacting our market to start, and then we can get into some of the specifics about how you think HighLevel is going to be addressing that, and features and things.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously AI is here to stay, and it's happening so fast that it's really fun. To be honest, it's a fun time to be involved in this, I think, and it's really fun to be a part of the the product team at HighLevel, because we have all these super smart product people and engineers, and it's like it's funny because we have 3 days a week we have like a really early morning product call, and I feel like I go in there and I like just put my hand up and I'm like, this might sound completely stupid, but can AI do this? And it's like, sometimes the answer is, yes or no or whatever. But a lot of times it's, well, let's talk about it. And like, it just becomes these big conversations of like, that should be possible. Let's try it. And then we go experiment with it. And it's like, so I think a lot of it, when we started out, we're like, okay, let's get to the basics right away. Like text. Anywhere you can write text in the platform, you should be able to hit the AI button and use it as your assistant, which is actually pretty handy, right? I thought, man, am I ever going to use that? But then, it's 4 o'clock and you've got to crank something out and you've got the brain fog going. It really has helped me just sort of get past that writer's block. Maybe just give me a couple of ideas to like riff off of, and then, back on track. So that's really helpful. Then you've got the images. So like if you're, creating a social media post in the social planner, you can use image AI to spin up an image. That one to me is cool, but will get much cooler in the very near future. I think the best image engine is probably the, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Midjourney.
Is it Midjourney? Yeah, Midjourney. I don't think their API is opened up yet, so like we can't plug into that one yet. So we're switching between whatever's currently the best in this current moment. And I think we just switched it to Google's engine because it looks like they're about to like take a leapfrog, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, so that's cool. You can do the image stuff, which is amazing. But what I think is most exciting is the conversation AI. And so I've seen 2 or 3 comments already here asking about AI chatbots. And
that's the hot topic I'm hearing from everybody. I think that there's some pretty aggressive marketing going on right now in the agency world of I think some biz op marketing going on, saying, hey, you can start an AI bot agency, and actually there's, I mean, absolute legitimacy. I mean, I just saw a McKinsey study, McKinsey being the huge strategy firm, where they said that it's kind of funny that chat bots are now they're going to be this very, very sexy, powerful thing, the good old chat bot, which who knew that was just going to continue to evolve and become this much more powerful thing. But that's what they're saying, is that they think that that's actually going to be a massive market.
So if you would have asked me that, if you would have told me that a year ago, I would have said, yeah, right, maybe in 10, 15 years. My opinion changed so quickly when I got to play with it. And basically, I think AI in general to the point right now is like, you could say it's like 80% flawless, right? There's still 20% where it will say something goofy or like they call them like hallucinations or something. But it's not, oftentimes when that happens, it's not that it says something where you're like, oh, that's a robot. It just says something goofy. And you're like, what a goofy thing for that person to say. But like, you still think a person.
I'm just interacting with a bit of a weirdo, which is pretty normal anyway. Yeah,
exactly. But I've just been so blown away by how contextually aware it is. And like, for example, one of the first tests I did was to just ask it a question. I knew it would answer well, and then ask another question really quickly. So I basically got 2 questions in before it shot me the reply.
Got it. And
sure enough, it took both of the questions into consideration and sent me a reply that addressed both seamlessly. And I was like, that's awesome. Another test I ran, which is actually pretty cool. I just did this the other day because it dawned on me. I remember one of the biggest like slam my head against the table moment was when I think we had a client who was saying he was going to leave or something. So we started digging into the leads, listening to phone calls, and it just became immediately clear that the person at the front desk who was manning the phones had no idea what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
And I literally remember listening to a call that was like, I think it was like a med spa, right? But let's say it was a med spa called ABC Med Spa in Doylestown.
Mm-hmm.
And the person called in and they were like, hey, I'm looking to get some Botox done. Is this XYZ Med Spa in Doylestown? And the lady was like, oh no, we're ABC Med Spa. They're across town. Click. And it was like, you sell Botox.
Yeah.
They're looking for Botox. Sell them the Botox.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I wonder if I could go into our bot and solve for that. Like so I went in and I wrote an FAQ and it was basically like, here, let me actually bring it up so I can just read exactly.
To share too.
Yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick because I think it'll be cool to show you this. Because it was fascinating for me. Oh no, I don't see present. Share screen.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Should pop up on my end here, and I can give you permission to.
Okay, cool. Actually, let me pull this out so I know which one I'm sharing. Okay, great. Cool. Perfect. Okay. So I came in here and I look at the FAQ I wrote. Is this, and then I put brackets, any business not named Buckner Family Dentistry. And then I tested it out and I was like, will the AI know what I meant by those brackets? And sure enough, I texted in like, is this Johnson Dentistry or whatever? And it perfectly replied, no, this is Buckner Family Dentistry or whatever. So little tests like this, like every time I run them, I'm just more and more impressed at what this thing can do. And so here's what I foresee. We know that there's a 5-minute shot clock on leads, right? The number one reason young agencies fail is because they run ads, they generate leads, they send an email saying, here's a new lead, and the client fumbles it, right? Yeah. We know that's never going to work, right? So then we use HighLevel to automate text messages and stuff to make sure that, we're trying to engage them in the first 5 minutes. But what could be better than not just having one like automated message that goes back, but an actual artificial intelligence that can have the educated conversation? And so one, just for general FAQ stuff, I think every business owner is going to figure out, wait a minute, I can have a perfectly trained employee that never sleeps, that I don't have to pay, or that I pay whatever.
And responds right away every time.
Yeah, I want one of those, right? So I think it's going to be at a level where businesses figured out in the early 90s, late 80s, that we need a website. Like I think it has the potential to be at that level. So if that's the case, the fact that you can white label HighLevel, and now you're going to have the ability to give people these bots. I really think that we're positioned for us all to be the WordPress of this next movement. Like,
wow.
every high leveler can literally go be the WordPress of that next website moment.
Wow. That's a powerful statement, and I agree with it. I get it. I mean, when I hear you say that, it makes sense. I mean, HighLevel, to me, that is the exciting like vision of the future for HighLevel, is that you could see this essentially being the small business, like business operating system. I mean, you get enough people out there selling, and you get enough accounts all using this system, where the system's getting smarter every day because everybody's learning, contributing, and your team is able to see all the best practices out there and just continue to develop. It becomes like this just incredible infrastructure.
I can't come up with a reason why a business wouldn't want one, right? It's just, and so I think that is an incredible opportunity that we're right on the precipice of. The other thing I think is going to happen, which is going to be interesting, it's sort of a prediction of mine that we'll see if it comes true or not, is that, Facebook lead ads right now are probably the most popular way to generate a lead. I think that's going to shift into Facebook Messenger ads, because now you can just plug the bot into the Messenger channel and run ads straight into conversations where this thing can actually answer their questions and close them into an appointment.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be like a quantum shift in ad spend going to that specific. And what's cool is one of the higher ups from the messaging team at Meta is actually going to be at the summit. And so they're really pumped to meet all the high levelers and to get raw feedback and stuff. But they really want to see more messenger usage, obviously. But I think they're going to get it, because I think the fact that you can run the chatbot on all the channels, to me, it makes perfect sense that you can. And I think the results are actually cheaper. I don't know. We'll see what they say at the conference. But I think it's going to be a massive opportunity to run ads into messengers.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's interesting, like you said, the idea that this could be like similar to how they got websites. Man, I don't know. Now, I mean, when I think about it, slow down long enough to think about it and hear you talking about it, I think it could be much bigger than that, because there are still lots and lots and lots of small businesses out there that go, well, I'm not sure that my website is doing anything for me. That's going to be pretty impossible to feel that way when you have a bot like this running. I mean,
what's really interesting to me is the Linktree trend, right? Linktree, link in bio pages, right?
Yep.
Blew up. Linktree's worth like $3 billion or something.
Yeah.
We can build them in HighLevel, super simple, right?
Yep.
But it's almost like, if we love Linktree so much when we click on them in social, why aren't websites just adopting that standard for your main website? Like, why don't we just have these little mobile websites? So like, imagine like a little mobile website with an AI chatbot on it. Like, do you really need more than that? I don't know. So I'm with you. I think the potential here is just through the roof, and you won't truly understand it until you start playing with it.
Yeah, I think that small business owners are very, very quickly going to see a cost savings thing, right? I think, and a revenue generation thing. And I think that that's what's going to make this so powerful, is like, you're going to see both. You're going to be like, oh, I thought I was going to have to hire X person, or X person quit and I didn't have to replace them. And my bot is actually doing a better job because that person I had picking up the phones or responding to whatever wasn't even doing it consistently. Now it's getting done every time. And it costs me X hundreds of dollars a month from, one of the agency partners on this call. And I'm generating more revenue from it because I can see through the system now, look, that lead came in here, boom, 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 conversation to sale, measurable, trackable. Like, the fact that it's got both of those, because I still think the far, far, far majority of small businesses just look at their website as an expense. I mean, they do. It's just a thing that costs me money that I have to, that I have to have. They're not thinking about it beyond that. But with these bots, I think it's going to be so compelling. I mean, this is why AI is just ridiculous, right? I mean,
the pizza shop down the street from us, right? It's the perfect example for me because we order pizza probably once a week, if not every other week. And it's always such a pain in the butt. I have to call in. They can't hear me. It's always this battle. And it's like, I call every week. It's like, what's your address? And I'm like, it's me. Like, you know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
So just giving them like, so we're in Mexico, right? So I've just been waiting for the WhatsApp integration to roll out. And then I'm going to go down there and be like, can I please set this up for you guys so that I can just order on WhatsApp? But then one step further, it's like you plug an AI bot in there and now I don't have to even deal with some 18-year-old dummy when the bot will do a better job, right? So I think not just business owners from the perspective of like saving money and stuff. I think like us as consumers are going to push businesses to adopt this stuff,
right?
Because it's like
absolutely
when you can get a flawless response back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just see it being it's like automated driving, right? Like a lot of people are like, "What? I can't wait." Like I know statistically it's way safer and it's going to give me a ton of time back. So I think once the general populace starts to understand that, we're all going to push for autonomous driving. And that's kind of what I see what's going to happen with these bots.
It's amazing to me that people still argue this stuff, right? People still argue, no, we're never going to let the robots drive us around in the cars. Like, you're crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Sitting in the back seat, having a beer, taking a nap. Like, you're going to be so thrilled that a thing is driving you around town without having to think about it. And not having
my gosh. And it'll save so many lives.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, gosh.
So,
go ahead.
I saw that question and I love it. So tip of the spear, we talked a lot about this at our last mastermind because a lot of, when it comes to selling high level, right? I think a lot of people get hung up on like, whoa, there's like 1,000 things I could sell, right? And we're trying to help people focus in on just a really small number of features. And no matter how many features are in your offer, you only sell one of them, right? Like identify one need. Missed call text back is a great one for pretty much any business in the US where you can just say, hey, look, I know statistically you're missing more than half of your inbound calls. Pretty safe to say at least one of them would be a sale, right? Right. What's a sale worth to you? I don't know, $1,000, right? Okay, great. So like if I could get you one of those back a week, we'd be bringing in an extra 4K for you this month. My software can do this all day long for you at $497 a month, right? Like that's a pretty easy sale. Use that as the tip of your spear. And then once you make the sale, you unleash the Trojans, which is, set up the Google Business Chat, get the web chat widget running, all these other things. So that's really the winning strategy, right? And so the way that we kind of have been talking about it lately is it doesn't matter what your tip of the spear is, just pick one and sell that thing. And then install the other automated stuff after you've made the sale. Yeah. To the question, I think the AI chatbot is quickly going to become the number one tip of the spear.
I think it is too.
I just think it's new. It's such a hot topic that everybody knows.
It's dramatically more powerful. I mean, the thing is, like, even with missed call text back, which I love, missed call text back, you got to set up a phone number. People ask about, well, what about my current phone number? Like, you just have these just little friction points, and the best tip of the spear has as little friction as possible, and will get a demonstratable result as fast as possible. And this is going to have both of those things. And I would think for the effort, I mean, somebody was mentioning like a roadmap for putting together one of these bots for a business. It's not going to be real hard to come up with hey, here are the 10 most common questions and the responses to them. But then the thing is with the AI bots is they're smart enough to then be able to answer other things other than just the things that you very specifically program in there. And so
that's going to be interesting because so it's funny. So like right now in our internal staging account, the playground is released, and I can show you that where you can just play with it. And then I think next week they're adding in the train by URL. So you'll just be able to plug in your client's website. It'll go digest everything, and now it's trained. But
That's cool.
if it's not on the website, it's not going to digest it, right? So there is going to be this world of like getting good at training the bot. And so I know the high levelers are going to go nuts and build all these awesome systems to do that. But yeah, that it should be as easy as that. Just feed the URL to it. And it's really cool the way that the team's building it, because you can say, you know, all pages on this path, right? Like all the root, or all the give it the root and then all the path pages if you want, or you can literally say like only these 3 pages, or whatever you want to do. Like you can just tell it where to go and learn, and then it goes and does its thing, and then it's ready to converse. And so the other cool thing is the modes. So like out of the gate, it's in booking mode, which actually I think was a bit of a misstep, and we're kind of like detaching that, because the base mode should really be FAQ mode, which always runs. Like it's just ready to answer questions about the business. And then if you want it to go into booking mode, you can do that through different ways. And, you know, there'll be a couple of different modes, but the booking mode is amazing, right? For folks that are working with businesses that are trying to book appointments, this thing is just going to be able to see the calendars and talk to people in real human language and get them booked. So it's happening so fast. And I think that's what's going to be interesting to see, is like, we're trying to get this out as fast as possible so that you guys can tell us how to shape it from there. But I don't see it taking between now and the end of the year. I think we roll into 2024 ready to just take over the world with these things.
So exciting. It really is.
It's pretty cool. I mean, if you guys want to check out the I'll show you the playground. So
yeah, pull it up.
This one is trained to be a real estate agency. So we can oh look, they even have, here it is, the enter the domain. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. And then here's the playground. So if you come in here and you're like, I don't know, let's say I was like, how long does it take to buy a house? And it'll just, you know, show you what the bot would say if it were on the site. Okay, cool. Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? Currently in seller's market. So now this is interesting, right? So we can see it answered the question, but because it's in booking mode, it also followed up with something to try to get me to book.
Yeah.
And this is still in the very early stages, right? So this is where I think we'll, you know, as we get further into this, it'll get better into, you know, being better at conversationally trying to take that next step.
Yeah, and different businesses will need different approaches to that, right? If this is a hair salon, it's like, hey, here's the booking link, book your appointment.
Yeah.
If it's a real estate business or something where there's a little bit more Q&A and getting to know you, getting to know the bot a little bit before before you want to take that next step.
Totally.
Yeah, may drag it out a little bit more.
But it's just fun to come in here and be like, just throw whatever at it, right?
Well, and that's the thing, is that you don't have to say, if it has this keyword, respond with this. It's just smart.
Right. I mean, it's a quantum leap from what we were doing in workflows just 5 months ago, right? Like it's so crazy how fast this is happening. What do we have? Oh, Craig, what about the A2P issue? I find it hard to sign someone up for a chat widget. Okay, so good question. So one, Craig, if it's a registered business, like they already have a tax ID and you input the information exactly as it is on their tax form, you get instant approval. So most people are getting really fast approvals. But the other thing is, let's talk about live chat. Our stance has always been that live chat sucks because there's never anyone on the other side. And that's why we never built it. Now that the AI conversation bot is real,
there's always somebody on the other side.
We're going to roll out live chat. So spoiler alert, because you guys are here, you know, and we love Mike and his community. I feel okay spilling the beans for you all. But yeah, by the end of the year, I think we should expect to have just a live chat channel. So no
That's
costs,
really cool.
there's no SMS cost, and you've got this always on AI bot ready to man the conversation. So,
oh my gosh. No
yeah,
SMS cost, guys. Like the whole A2P issue essentially goes away when you're offering these services. I'm not saying it's going away entirely, because obviously SMS still is going to be there and has a role, but man, it just makes me think, like, what's going to happen to the phone? What's going to happen to the phone network, as a result of all this? Because
I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be freaking awesome, because the spammers are going to be obliterated.
Yeah.
So real businesses that go through the steps to register are going to have just an open sea of marketing for SMS, which is the number one form of marketing. Open rates are like 98% of it for a text message. But we also have live chat. So it's like, if you're outside the US, or you don't want to incur the cost, or you just want to show your client what you can do without them having to pay for anything, for a trial or something, we're going to be able to hit it from all the angles. And again, the bot can run across all the channels. So you know what I mean? Like, it's just all that, anywhere a conversation comes in, it can be on and ready to rock. So, the playground is not available yet, but because it's in staging, that means it's days away. Any day now, you guys will see it. Yeah, you'll see Sean coming at you any day now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know, guys, I mean, just with the little bit of insight that I have here, that's slightly ahead of maybe the general public, is this stuff's not far away.
Not at all.
And then it's super easy to see how AI enabled workflows, if you will, start to become just crazy. Because
here's a real mind bender. This is one of those things where I was like, is this possible? And at first it was like, I don't think so. And then over the past couple of days, I've been hearing, no, it should be, which is taking an AI, teaching it the code and elements of HighLevel, so that you can then imagine this. You grab any website and say, rebuild this in the builder, and it builds it using HighLevel elements. That's the kind of stuff that I think is really going to start blowing minds. Because imagine if you could just take any amazing looking site that you found, throw it in there, have it rebuilt natively, and then you just tell the AI, swap the images out, generate new images for me, so they're royalty free, spin the text so that it's unique. I mean,
that's crazy. Yeah, I just wrote some code today by uploading a thing to ChatGPT's, what is it, the code configurator or whatever, the feature of that, and I went so crazy. My college age daughter was like alarmed by my enthusiasm. She was like, "You're such a nerd, Dad." I was like, "This is so awesome."
I mean, kids don't understand. This is magic, right?
It is magic.
To somebody who's been around for a couple of decades, like, this is literally magic.
Man.
And I think it's, I'm not an engineer, but it's so fun to watch the engineers light up at, every time something becomes clear, or, it's so funny because I heard Shivam say something today that was so cool. And I think we were talking about that exact thing, like the website thing. And Shivam was like, Varun, can you envision it? Because if you can envision it, let's move forward with it. And Varun was like, I can. And that's where we're at. It's almost like, if you can just conceptualize it in your mind of how it might be possible, let's go for it, because we're close enough. And those conversations to me are just so exciting.
That is so exciting. I mean, it really is just like this. It's just a crazy time to be alive. It is. It's going to be so fascinating. So are there, so continuing just on the AI front here briefly, is there, I mean, I know some of the voice conversation capabilities out there are getting really robust. That seems like another obvious, okay, you're calling one of our smart numbers, you call into that number and it always gets picked up. There's never a voicemail. We don't do that anymore. There's always a pickup. And look at that. It sounds like a perfectly trained member of your team. Is that something you guys are able to start horsing around with, or?
Totally. I don't think we've started on any of the voice stuff. I don't think we've seen a lot of demand from it. So if you guys, guys collectively start asking for it, then the team will start playing with it. But 100%, that's a whole nother frontier. That one I think is maybe a little bit harder because it's got to be really good. Otherwise you get really annoyed, I think, if you're on the phone.
Yeah.
But
I think really good.
All sorts of little, like, the voicemail drops. Like, what if you could just type what you wanted to say and it generates the voice? One thing that I've been sort of annoyed that the community hasn't demanded by now is live video in HighLevel. And so I think with communities, I think it'll get voted up pretty quickly now, but amazing stuff is happening with video. Like, I don't know if you've played with Descript yet, but I've been using it more and more. And so how cool is this? When I make important videos, I have like a full teleprompter setup. It's a thing that mounts to my DSLR and I've got to use an app and slide my camera or my phone into it. And I'm literally reading off the thing. And I got to use a remote because you screw up all the time. It's a pain in the butt. Well, my remote broke and I was like, oh crap, I need to finish a video for a course. And I remembered seeing Descript tweet a couple of days ago that they have this new eye contacts feature. So I was like, let's give it a whirl. So I just copy my script. I paste it into a browser teleprompter that just scrolls the text. I record and actually, let me show you just because this is so cool. Let me, hold on. I have it right here. Recent projects. Yeah. Okay. Watch this. Let me make it bigger.
And then you got to share it with us.
Share screen. Where's my Descript? Let's just do entire screen. Here we go. Hopefully. Oh no. System preferences, blah, blah. All right. Anyway, I'll try to figure out how to get this shared. But basically, I record it and you can see like I am now what you see me looking away. And then you hit a button and it moves my eyeballs to be perfectly looking into the camera, including blink timing, like everything flawlessly. You can't tell that I'm not looking directly into the camera. And so it's just I think once we go into video and all that kind of stuff that we can do, AI avatars, all this stuff, it's just, it's so cool. And we can do it all. When you're on these conversations with the team, it's just a matter of priority. So it's whatever the community wants to see first, let's do it. But I think the sky's the limit with all of this.
It is. I was playing with an AI avatar tool today that with 2 minutes of video training. So you just have 2 minutes of your video of you talking to upload to it. This damn thing is so close to perfectly lifelike video after just 2 minutes of training that my mind.
Which one was it?
Blown. I'll have to get the name for you and send it to you. I haven't seen anything nearly this good yet. I mean, it looks photorealistic, perfect. You and I just sitting there having a conversation. The sound, I would say, is still just a little bit robotic, but not bad at all. And it just, it immediately gets you thinking about, okay, what are all the possibilities that we're going to have? One, to create more content for content marketing. Hey, Jen. Yeah, that's right, Matt. Hey, Jen. So the ability to create more content for marketing, but also the ability to create content for our customers for their marketing, right? All we have to, hey, just
Getting customers to make video is like
yeah,
impossible, right?
yeah. Talk into this camera here for 2 minutes and upload it, and we'll be able to create all the scripts and create all the videos of you doing stuff for your customers that you could possibly need. Like, it's mind blowing. It really is. And it makes you think about.
Oh, I think I got it. Can you see
Cool.
that?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me share it here.
Watch this.
Yeah.
So this was me, reading. When it comes to onboarding clients, every agency off the screen, and then you flick this on. When it comes to onboarding clients, every agency does it.
Oh my gosh.
Testing this out, but clearly. Is that nuts or what?
It is insane. Look at that.
I was just blown away.
Yeah.
So here's what I think is the coolest thing about all of this. There's a million AI tools, and there's going to be a million more that roll out, right? But right now, what do they give you? They give you content that you can go do something with, and it costs you money. But every time we add one into HighLevel, you become the AI tool provider, and you literally get to monetize AI. So I think, I just saw, so for the mastermind, we pulled the latest SaaS mode stats. And right now, every month, the agencies in SaaS mode are generating more than $1 million a month in subscription revenue.
That's awesome.
And I think it's like almost half of that comes from the rebilling stuff. So like the fractions of the pennies that accrue every time a message is sent or AI is used. So if we're already seeing that much volume off of the traditional stuff like text messages, imagine the volume spike that's going to happen as the general populace and all of our customers start using the AI in the system. It's just super exciting.
It is super exciting. It's crazy. I mean, again, become a small business operating system and utility in many ways, right? And it's exciting to me for somebody who's worked with small businesses my whole career. The bottleneck to small business success, even if they're hustlers, even if they're creative, is that they have such limited resources that it doesn't allow them to compete with bigger businesses who have systems in place that give them an edge.
Yeah.
It just, it's super hard to compete with Amazon when Amazon has the systems that it has in place to make sure that a package gets delivered faster, to make sure that inventory levels are replenished correctly, all that type of stuff, because that's happening almost completely on autopilot for Amazon. Whereas with most small businesses, there's still manual effort in there. And that's why I stress to everybody, you go through any of my training, right? It's sell the system. You are, and this is important. We did a whole training on this yesterday, Chase, which is sell whatever specific feature and benefit you need to sell that is the right thing for the customer at the time, the right conversation at the time, the pain point that they're experiencing, but always sell ultimately that is part of a bigger system of capabilities that can then be applied to the business. So that is critical for you guys. If you're out looking at other AI bots, don't be crazy. I mean, when you think about that, again, what HighLevel is giving us is a complete system. So yes, there's going to be other AI bots out there, and conceivably you could connect it to HighLevel. But the fact that HighLevel is going to have, you just heard Chase talking about very quickly, they're going to have AI running through everything. So that whole system, everything that right now we have to think workflows, there's going to be a point here pretty darn, and it's going to happen fast. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast, honestly, until just until just earlier in this conversation here, and you talk about it. Like some of this is just going to happen so fast, where there's this intelligence that is running through every piece of the HighLevel system, right? To make sure that everything is flowing together, working together, that when somebody sends in, it makes this negative comment about a business, that it fires all of the things that you want it to fire, but without having to manually program in a lot of that stuff anymore. I mean, it's going to be bonkers.
So that's a great point. And I know, and by the way, so Jeff pointed out the playground is already live. It's in lab.
Yeah.
You just have to activate it in lab. So that is there. You guys can go play with that and test it out yourself.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
But I think going back to what you've been saying forever, which is systems, right? We're constantly trying to build in more. Like, so one feature that I'm super excited that the social planner team is going to roll out is, by the way, I think tomorrow the recycle post goes live, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, cool.
And then they're going to launch automated review social posting. So what another great automated feature to put into a system where it's like, hey, every time you get a new review that's 5-star, we'll turn it into a really nice piece of social media content and post it for you. Beautiful, right? Like that's a service that we used to do manually back in the day for people. And now we can put it on autopilot and collect the same amount of revenue for it, right? Because it's got a value to it. So someone asked, like, what are the best, something about like, what are the best
services to offer
and whatnot. These are them. It is the automated stuff, the chat widget with a bot running on it, Google Business Chat activation, auto posting of social media, of reviews to social media content, missed call text back. All of these things, literally, it will take you, I don't know, a half an hour. Once you get good at it, an hour if you're not, to set them up. But then you literally are hands off collecting hundreds of dollars a month in like there is no better business model on the planet as far as I'm concerned. And so it's easy to get hung up on all the other stuff, which is great if you know how to use all that other stuff. But if you are just getting started and you need to stabilize your business because your churn's really high, go shoot me an email. I'll get you access to the local hero course. And it really talks about just these automated features that you should really start with as your offer. But yeah, like I just see in 2 seconds, we're going to be in a world where I can go and say, I know you missed a ton of phone calls. Let me automate a text back to those folks. And when they reply, my AI bot will just handle the conversation for you, turn them into bookings.
Yeah.
Let's just try it out. Let me just run it for you for 15 days. And then you tell me if you want to pay for it or not.
Yeah. Wow. And so that's what I was going to say, Chase, is this is going to completely change how we sell. I mean, so I got a lot of experimenting to do is what I have. I mean, for the last, let's rewind in my ancient history of selling to small businesses, right? When I first got started, there was literally no way other than cold calling and direct mail and door knocking to get a hold of businesses. And then email started to become a thing. And then Google AdWords started to become a thing, right? And then over time, there was this progression that, technology kind of started, really accelerating there of you could actually do a thing called a webinar. I don't even know if they were called webinars then, but you could do something like that. Facebook started coming around and then Facebook ads, obviously. But in that entire time period, we've gone from you have to sell everything. You have to have a salesperson involved and you have to sell. Marketing, yes, it got you to the point of having a conversation, but you have to sell to make a transaction happen.
AKA convince, right?
Even, right? And then today we've gotten to the point now where with content marketing, in particular, good educational content marketing, that you can get somebody all the way to the finish line. And in some cases, to just pull out their credit card and just make the purchase. But I still always advise that in every small business sales process, or every sales process where an agency is selling to small businesses, that you still have the plan that you are going to have a sales conversation here to close this deal. This is going to take that even that much closer to the finish line when you have content that can be essentially dynamically created, when you have conversational bots that can be answering the questions from the prospects while they're on your website, I mean, it's going to make our sales processes so much more slippery and scalable for all of our customers, but for us too. It's really...
Oh, I can imagine the content already, right? Imagine a vertical video that's like, hey, I put my AI chatbot on this dentist website, and in 15 days, look what it did. And then you see like scrolling through conversations, and then you scroll through the bookings, and it's like, if you're a dentist and you'd like to have an AI chatbot on your site, let us know. Like, I just think it's going to be something that everyone is going to be on the lookout for. And so easy to sell when people see it in action. And then imagine this, right around the corner, you'll probably be able to launch Facebook ads from inside of HighLevel. So it's like, oh, that you love the missed call text back and it's generating a couple sales a week for you. That's awesome. Do you want to ramp it up? Like, just go click the ads button and type in how much, $10 a day, and pick whatever awesome ad template you like and hit go. It's going to generate messages that the AI will answer for you. And there we go. Now we're scaling. So I didn't like, I was excited about a lot of stuff heading into the back half of this year.
Yeah.
I had no idea, the curveball that was coming for us all, that just is like, I almost feel bad because like there's so much other cool stuff rolling out. Like, for example, somebody pointed out, who was that? Citywide digital media. Will HighLevel ever have automated Google review responses? Yes, of course. We're working on it right now. So AI will spin up. You'll have two modes: suggestive mode or auto. So you could set it where it'll spin up 3 suggestions and you could just click one, or you could throw it on auto and it'll just auto reply to all your reviews. So another perfect automated service, right?
My head's exploding, says Warren. Yes, there's gonna be, even like you said, this is an incredible service and an incredible feature, and it's easy to let that stuff get buried now, right? Lee is asking, is there a business card scanner coming? This one amazes me. I'm like, 1, people still use business cards, and 2, business card scanners have been around since like I started selling, 20 years ago or whatever. So that's kind of
but if it gets voted up, we would definitely build it. What I could probably see coming in lieu of that would be QR code functionality. I think it makes total sense to be able to have workflows that generate dynamic QR codes and then trigger off of those and stuff. So the answer is maybe, Lee, if you get the votes, get it on the ideas board if it's not there already.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see here. You mentioned that local hero course.
Oh yeah. So the local hero course is it's missing the free guide you mentioned on the page. Free guide. So everything's in the snapshot or it's in the course lessons. If you don't see something, shoot me an email, chase@GoHighLevel.com. The local hero course is, if you're on 497, you should see it in your university. If you don't, just shoot me an email and I'll activate it for you. But that's the new SaaSpreneur course that we haven't publicly rolled it out, but we have silently rolled it out. Most chatbots kill your core web vitals score. I would imagine, Brian, that Google is working on that right now, because Google's working very hard on AI.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be, that may be an issue in the past and present, but I think that it's going to, that's going to be less of an issue here going forward for sure. Pierce says, could you please provide the URL again for the SaaS course?
It would be in university.gohighlevel.com if you have access to it. But if you don't, again, just shoot me an email, chase@gohighlevel.com, and I'll get it in your account.
Cool. So all right, we're right up at an hour here, Chase. I'm going to ask, let's see here, one last question here, another kind of biggie to wrap this up with, which is, what do you see when you look out on the landscape, the most successful agencies doing, and let's keep it on from a sales perspective, from getting new customers. What do you see the best doing that other folks on this call could learn from?
So I'll give you a great example. I think the answer is shifting to the SaaS mindset. So the agency that I left to join HighLevel is run by Matt Coffey, the founder of that agency. And he was super reluctant to hear about the SaaS stuff, right? So, the first 2 years of me being at HighLevel, I'd check in with him and be like, why aren't you guys in SaaS mode? And it was just like, whatever, we'll get there. But, we're too busy doing what we do. And which is selling $2,500 a month packages that are, SEO websites, like the whole traditional deal, Google ads. And then towards the end of the last year, he kept telling me, like, we're going to get serious about this SaaS thing. We're going to get serious. And I'm like, great, do it. Like, let me know if I can help, So then, and I have, if you were at the mastermind, like I have screenshots of his Slack comments with the dates on them. But I think it was like April. He was like, we launched it. I'm like, great. And then I checked back with him or something, and he was like, but we kind of launched it. I'm like, just do it. 2 months later, he sends me a screenshot of their revenue report. And you could see in it that for like the previous 4 or 5 months, they'd been hovering right around 130,000 a month, right? Doing good. Again, this agency's been in business for a decade, right? Decade plus. The hard way got to 130 MRR, fluctuating up and down from there. They're at 150. And he's like, we're selling these $497 SaaS plans left and right. Like he was like, I think we're going to sell 11 this week. And I'm like, there you go. Nice. Keep going. The next month, he's like, we're 15 days into the month, and I think we're going to break 200K for the first time. And I'm like, beautiful. The next month, screenshot, breaks 200K. He's like, we're just slinging these things left and right. And I'm like, he's like, we're still trying to wrap our head around it. And obviously they're still tweaking it and whatnot. But it goes to show you how fast you can move the needle and change things if you shift into the SaaS mindset.
Yeah.
Yes, it's lower ticket, but you got to get over that mental hurdle, because the consistency and the stability so quickly balances out for the ticket price.
Yeah, I got a good message from one of my long-term customers who was actually at the GoHighLevel event last October. I'm sure we'll be at this next one. And he's great, and he's a hustler. And we were at the event, and he was like, Mike, I'm just going to put my head down and do what you're saying. Sell the 297, 497, whatever packages. And he just sent me a message this week that they're at, 39K recurring now on those packages. And that's a life changer. That's a life changer for every single person on this call. You get up to 40 grand a month in recurring revenue on essentially what is very close to, if not automated, revenue and recurring revenue and sticky revenue. Because once a business is in there and got all their data in there, it's going to be so hard for them to get away. And as I was stressing on our call yesterday, guys, this is the kind of business that somebody will buy from you. That's the kind of business that somebody will cut a check one day and give you multiples of your sales, so that when you're ready, if you're ready to leave the business and do something else, you're going to have a really nice option, versus if you continue to go out there and do custom stuff. One, you're never going to get that relief of, at the beginning of the month, I have 50 grand, 75 grand, 100 grand coming in, whatever it is, 200, like your friend they're referring to. And you're never going to be able to sell that business for any sort of decent multiple. If you're just running around being creative because that's your talent and that's your skill, you better understand that is coming at the expense of building a small fortune.
Well, here's what's cool about that. And by the way, I just heard another HighLevel white label exited, I think for 2 million. Awesome. And I think they're like the 8th one that I know of.
That's going to start happening like crazy.
Yeah. And, I had a funny, well, an insightful, I think, realization as I was working on a presentation the other day. And it's like, oftentimes agencies just make it overly hard on themselves, right? There is an easier path. And it's these little things that every business should have, like a missed call text back. Why shouldn't a business have a system that automatically texts someone back if they can't get to the call, right? Like they just should. Everyone should. Why would you say no to that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why do agencies make it so hard on ourselves? And I think the answer is because we love what we do, right? We are passionate about SEO, building websites, running ads, all these things that are great, but they're just mathematically bad businesses.
Yep.
And so what I'm trying to help people do is look, get your SaaS going. Start with the SaaS sale, then sell your service on a separate subscription. And if you do that, like Mike said, when people do come and look to buy your business, they're going to kind of scrap your subscriptions that are traditional services, and they're just going to look at your SaaS subscriptions. And that's what you're going to get valued on.
Yep.
And that's great because you're going to have it. But if you don't have it, like Mike said, it's going to be real tough to sell a traditional agency.
Yeah, it is. It's, I mean, I've been in these industries where these consolidations happen now a couple of times. And it's really, really critical that you all understand what you are building for, and then what is the best way to achieve that. And I would say 95% of the people who are on this call or would watch this video later, your reasons for building your business are that you can have some freedom, you can have some economic resources that are beyond just getting by, and that one day you could potentially have an exit that could give you, real freedom, like where you're just like, okay, now I have enough money sitting in the bank that I have all the options. And there are ways to achieve that in terms of business model. And then there are ways that no matter what you do, you are unlikely to achieve that. It doesn't matter how much you hustle. It doesn't matter how much success you have relative to others in terms of that business model. You still will not achieve the things that we just talked about, because the best hustling creative agency is still a hustling creative agency. They may be optimizing that model, but that model does not optimize to achieve the goals that we just talked about. Versus when you have the 6 figures of monthly recurring revenue coming in that's almost completely automated, that right there is cash flow freedom and economic freedom, and just gives you such a different ability to enjoy your day-to-day. And then that ability to sell. And Matthew asked, what's a reasonable exit multiple? Well, a reasonable exit multiple for a typical professional services business, so creative, law firm, accounting firm, all that type of stuff, where people are trading their time and their talents for money. On the low end, but it's super common to be on the low end. In fact, I would say it's more common than not to be on the low end, 0.25 times revenue. So you can have $1 million business and it only sells for 250, 275, that type of thing. And there's all kinds of reasons why, but that's terrible. You build $1 million business and you can only sell it for 250, 275,000. And then on the high end of that, again, a traditional professional services business trading time for money, 1 times revenue. So you got $1 million business and you get $1 million, right? And so that gives you probably a few years of what your income was when you were running that business, maybe like that type of thing, which is nice. It's not, it's better than a kick in the teeth, but it's not, escape money versus recurring automated revenue, which is more like a software business, a SaaS business. They can get 5 times revenue, 6 times revenue, 7 times revenue. So 7 times revenue, 5 times revenue, not profit. They can get 5 times revenue, right? So, and I'm not saying all businesses do. There's all kinds of factors in here that play into this. But the point being, they are always going to get a better multiple than a typical professional services or creative agency business. And so,
well, plus you mentioned profit, right? A traditional services business is lucky to run on 35% margin. A software business, you're looking at 90% plus margin. And so I mean, literally my retirement plan is to build up a white label of HighLevel, train my kids enough to keep it running. If they could go get whatever job they want, but they should be able to keep this thing running in their spare time and just hand it over. Like, what an amazing legacy to be able to pass on of like, hey, here's a family business that basically runs itself. So keep the wheels on the track.
There's going to be, so I can say with absolute certainty, and especially here that you're saying that you're already seeing the 8th exit. When I was in the IT industry, guys, it played out exactly like this is playing out. There's a company called ConnectWise that became the operating system of that industry, just like HighLevel is becoming the operating system of this industry. And over the course of like a 10-year period from when I first got in the industry to when I exited, it changed the lives of so many people in that industry. It was amazing. And here's Derek, right? He was in that industry. Says, that's so right, Mike. I was offered 8 times my revenue on my MSP that I had up in Boston. So this, Derek was a competitor of mine up there in Boston, right? So it changed the lives of so many people in that industry. And I am so excited to see that happen for people in this industry, because I can tell you right now, heading into the HighLevel conference in October, last year I'm talking about, I know everybody in this damn industry. Prior to that event, there was a bunch of people that were making decent money in the agency business, but for the most part, it was a tough, grinded out business where people were not really getting ahead. And at the event in October of last year, you were finally starting to hear these conversations, the excitement in the air of people going, hey, my life is changing. This is working. This is working. I have now built up that $40,000 a year, and that type of thing. People were having these experiences. I'm going to tell you right now, when we go to this event in October this year, there's going to be that dude just sold his for $7 million, whatever it is. And I can tell you that a year from now and 2 years from now, it's going to be popping bottles, people partying like crazy, because there's going to be so many people there that are making so much damn money. It's going to be freaking awesome. And look, this is not a biz op pitch. You're going to make, you're going to make a business. You're going to have to work your ass off. You're going to have to get out there and be competitive. You're going to have to go out there, sell, market, learn these tools, learn how to innovate, learn how to respond to your customers' needs. You have to build a real business. What I am saying now is that you actually have the opportunity in this industry to build a real business. Whereas before, it was hard to do. It was really hard to do. It was almost all just time and talent.
You want to hear something cool that I just remembered that I heard this morning, a fresh set of data. And so Jasmine asked a really great question. How many clients is reasonable for one person to handle without hiring and becoming an agency? Traditional services for us at our agency, every 12 to 15 new clients, we had to hire a new person to manage that. So I used to call that scaling sideways. I'm like, yeah, we're not really getting ahead. Like the top line revenue keeps going up, but the profit's not, because we have to keep hiring people, and then they take vacations or they don't work out or this or that. And now it's like, it's a mess. With an automated business, Jasmine, it really just comes down to onboarding. How long does it take you to onboard them?
Yeah.
Can you afford to do that for free or not? If you're charging, can you afford to hire somebody to do it for you? Because once they're onboarded, the maintenance on that client should be very low. And so back to what you were talking about acquiring clients. So we have the prospecting tool, right? And the prospecting tool just got a very cool upgrade where it shows you now, if you go in there and you say, show me dentists in Philadelphia, it'll scan. And now it shows you if they've claimed their Google business profile or not, which is very good intel for when you go to reach out. But what's cooler is the team came back with some stats, and I think there have been like 70,000 businesses scanned so far or something. And 3% of those scans have turned into sub-accounts, meaning you can expect for every 30 clients you scan and reach out to land one of them. And we're just getting started, right? So hopefully that's sinking in. Like Mike said, this isn't, money's not going to fall from a tree. But if you're willing to take time to do what we're teaching you to do, run the scan, reach out about a tip of the spear offer, you should expect to be able to close at least 1 out of 30. And that revenue is sort of cemented, right? And you just start building up from there. So I'll leave you with one last thing, which is we are heading into the summit. If you haven't gotten a ticket, we would love to see you there. levelup.gohighlevel.com. And there's going to be a major announcement around the pricing model of AI that I think everyone is, if you're not over the fence yet, it's going to push you over, because we're really trying to leverage everything that we've built so far and the size of the community and everything that we can do to give high levelers an unfair advantage when it comes to heading into the market selling AI. So hopefully we see you there. Mike and I will be partying for sure.
That's right. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Look, everybody give Chase a big thank you in the comments, please. Chase, this is awesome. Again, my plug, gang, if you would like to work with me to build your business, I would love to help you. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I got to say that there was years of a kind of a pit of despair because the market was just staying so challenging for so many people. And I am absolutely lit up, thrilled, excited to be a part of this industry now, thanks to what HighLevel is doing. And it is going to change lives. It's already changed. It's already changed a bunch of lives. It's going to change a lot of agency lives, and it's going to change a lot of small businesses' lives. I talked to Sean about this. Every time I talk to Sean about this, we always have this moment where I'm like, dude, do you realize the waterfall effect that you guys can have on people's lives and in the economy when you look at the numbers? And he's like, yeah, no kidding, Mike. Like, I see the numbers. Like I can't see the numbers, and I still know, I still feel it. And when you guys, like the work that you guys are doing, I have to tell you, Chase, you guys know it's amazing stuff. I'm incredibly grateful. I think
did you see someone just posted, I think, of the Inc. 5000 list just came out?
No, I didn't see it.
And as of this morning, we identified it. I think like 10 of them are high level businesses.
That's so
like
awesome.
High level white labels. And the number keeps going up. So yeah, I mean, it's insane to see the impact rolling out. And, it goes, most businesses don't know they're being impacted because it's under a white label. It's under, somebody else's brand. So it's just super
awesome.
Cool. And we're so happy to be in it together with everyone. And, Sean always says, we want to be a $10 billion company where we're making 2 and you guys are making 8. So
yeah, that's so cool. I love it, man. I love it. It's such a neat, as an entrepreneurial nerd and a guy who's been in this space, like it's just so awesome to see everything that's happening. So Chase, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it and sharing your insights with us. As always, I really look forward to seeing you in October. Congratulations on all your success, and enjoy Mexico and your family. And we will see you here real soon. Likewise. Can't wait to see you at the summit. Thanks for having me. Awesome. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, for being a part of the community and giving us your time and attention. Get out there and get after it. Get just as fired up as I am, and I know Chase is, and just get in there and get dirty and get your hands in there and start playing with this stuff and go for it, because the upside is just so stinking awesome. Okay.